Hello everyone, this is how to make the 12-inch Patriotic wreath using 21-inch Deco mesh, and I'm using a 12-inch wire form from the Dollar Tree. Now I've got some plastic canvas here, and hopefully you have some. I folded it in half because we're going to use both pieces for our center. I've got some zip ties and some Chenille stems, along with 21-inch blue, red, and white. Now, of course, I laid mine out, and at every 10 inches, I cut. Then we're going to fold that in half. Cut this in half. This will create double layer of a 10-inch. Fold it corner to corner. Slide it around. And those raw edges, turn them inward. Now begin rolling. Then you're going to scrunch it together. This will create the petals indentation. And you can straighten up the edges and zip tie that together as tight as you can and pretty close to the end. Maybe allow about a ½ inch. Kind of spread it out a little bit. Trim off the zip tie and then trim off any of your little poking outs. So once more, you're going to take both your pieces that are about 10½ inches, tuck in the sides, roll it, tuck in the other side, roll it. Now you're going to kind of scrunch it together to make the flowers indentation. Straighten it up a tad. Give it a quick zip tie. Straighten it out. You can roll these out and spread them out more once you start putting your wreath together. Trim off any of the little raw edges that are frayed. If you have a hot knife, it works great for this Deco mesh. But I wanted to show you this Patriotic wreath. So now we need to create our center. So I took the plastic canvas, black magic marker, and just trimmed out the center and cut off the excess. Now we need to just make sure it's going to look right, and we want to create a secondary one. And I just used my first one to make my second one, which we'll end up trimming a little bit more. Cut off those zip ties after you zip tied in the center. Now this is the way we need. We need 11 blue, 15 red, and 13 white to do this large 12-inch. Now the latter two, the outer ring and the first inner ring, is where you're going to attach your blue, the first row. So I'm just tying these on with a Chenille stem. The zip tie, guys, helps you to anchor it into place, and trust me, it is not coming off. So I've just run my Chenille stem between the outer and the first inner, and then I just twist tie it. And I use the zip tie to my advantage as a better anchor when I do my Chenille stem. Just bring it around, give it a couple of twists, and then fold it downward. That way all the Chenille pieces won't be poking you or poking the other layers. So I left this part of the video in because I wanted you to be able to see how you're layering these first two sections for the blue. And it's important that you layer it this way so that it lays correctly and it looks truly like flower petals. Now my Patriotic wreath is extremely important to me. I'm an American year-round, but I use my wreath year-round. So right here between rails 2 and 3 is where you're going to put your second layer of blue. So your first layer, you only have 4 in the first 2 sections. Then you're going to place one in between the petals, and that will be the second layer, which is 3. So every other. Now I get my wreath out. I use it for Veterans Day, Memorial Day, 4th of July, and Labor Day. Now this is our final section. We're going to be using the plastic canvas to anchor these in. So go ahead and create you 4 chenille stems and grab your black magic marker. Lay them there in between because they're coming inward. They're not going to be anchored to the wire. They're going to be anchored to the canvas. I use my marker to lay out where the chenille stem needs to poke up through the back. Run it through the back. And then I begin tying those on. Once again, the blue is going to fall in between the second layer. And that will create the petals layers. And just take your time. If you have arthritis, use a clothespin or something to hold to them till you can get a zip tie on them. Zip tie gives you more control. So here's the blue layer. Now we're going to begin the red layer. In the first section, you're going to put 3, and you're going to continue that rhythm around the remainder of the wreath between the outer and the first inner wires. And you can easily pause this video and see exactly where each one is placed. Now remember, the red, we have 15. So at this point of the video, you're seeing about 12. Now we're going to place our white layer in. Now in the beginning, you're going to place one there at the blue. Then in between every 2 red, you're going to place a white. And all the white is going to be attached in between. So you're going to have one in between the red on the second and first rail, and then your remainders are going to come forward and be attached to the canvas. As I said, you can easily pause this at any time and see exactly where everything is placed. And then when you do those that are in between, use your black magic marker. So the first layer of white is going every 2 red, and then the second layer of white is coming inward. So now this is what your wreath is going to be looking like. Once you get all 11 of your white tied on, 15 of the red, and of course 11 of the blue. So here we are, we got to work on this center. So this is what I did. I get Maxwell House coffee, so I grabbed the lid because I want my petal center to be risen. That second piece of canvas we had, we cut it to fit an 8-inch bowl. So I went to the kitchen and grabbed an 8-inch bowl, and that fit exactly in the center of this 12-inch to cover up those edges. Took my black magic marker, traced the bowl onto the canvas, and trimmed it to size because it needed to be slightly smaller than the first canvas. I'm using this mesh tubing that was available at Dollar Tree back during Thanksgiving. Take 4 chenille stems, run those through your canvas, and then you're going to glue the lid of a coffee can or a creamer can, something large, to the piece of plastic canvas. If you have styrofoam and it's large enough, you can use it. But because I'm using a 12-inch Wreath Form, I needed a larger piece. And I did want the center of my flower to puff up. So make sure you turn those chenille stems outward so that when you're hot gluing your tubing, it's not going to stick to it, guys. And you'll have a way to anchor it to your wreath. And then begin gluing in the center and just wrapping around itself. And just keep going. And you will need to use a little bit of glue on the tubing itself and the lid so that it won't pop loose. Try not to pull it, use it loosely. And now when you get here close to the plastic canvas, you're going to be going downward, once again attaching it to itself. Once you finish it, you're going to get right here to where you see about 3 layers, and you're going to snip it. And on this mesh tubing, you want to press it before you glue it against it so that you don't see any raw edge. And voila, here we have our flower center. Now we can anchor it onto the wreath and tie it into place. And you can use all four or just a couple. It doesn't take a lot. And I just attached it basically to the wreath. Now, 4th of July, they have these balloon anchors, and the stars are perfect. I saw Julia's Creations, Boutique Creations, do it on her wreath, and I thought, oh my gosh, fabulous. And look how lovely it looks. So I took her outside. I hung her on my Memorial Day, Labor Day, or use it year-round. Perhaps you can't hang a flag. Here is a solution to that problem so that you can still be patriotic too. She is absolutely beautiful. You know I appreciate the thumbs up. I will be wearing my flag outside and sporting it on my porch year-round. Subscribe to the channel if you like DIYs such as this. And until the next DIY, well, I'll be crafting y'all.